Hey guys, it's the Captain here, and yes, you are not mistaken. I am holding an instrument that only has 4 strings, and I'm not terribly familiar with, but I thought what I'd do today, as many of you always like to, asking for bass videos, I thought I'd grab the Ashdown Rootmaster mag amplifier and run you through that. Now, I'm not a master bass player. In fact, I'm not even a pedestrian bass player. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just literally play a couple of bits through this to give you a rough idea of the kind of tones, but then we're going to use some reamped loops, some bass loops into here, close up, just to kind of show you what the amp can do. Now, we sell a lot of Rootmaster amplifiers, and it really is a fabulous brand, Ashdown. They're a British brand with quite a lot of heritage in bass. You've got some fairly famous bass players, certainly guys like Nate Mendel from the Foo Fighters, Adam Clayton from U2, many others that use Ashdown gear. And Rootmaster is their kind of mid-price, kind of semi-pro kind of gear. Comes in a range of heads and combos. This is the smallest of the heads in terms of power, so this is a 220 watt head. There's one at about 400 watts and one at about 800 watts. There's a range of cabinets from little 210s and right up to the 410 like this. I think there's even a 610 or an 810. And there's some combos, of which again there's a very compact little 12-inch loaded combo up to some of the bigger sort of 410 combos. But take a look at I'll put a link in the description below. I thought I'd revisit Rootmaster because we've got 1 or 2 fantastic deals on putting the stacks together, where you perhaps have a head with a couple of cabinets, or even a really tremendous offer on the 1x12 combo at the moment, which makes for a great little kind of gigging bass amplifier. So here's the basic. I've just got a Fender Mexican jazz bass. This is what it sort of sounds like. I thought what I'd do first of all, I've plugged my guitar pedal board in, and it's quite interesting to see how many guitar pedals work great for bass as well. So that's with me with pretty much everything flat, the drive and the sub bass turned off, which I'll come to in a minute, and just a sort of a medium volume sound. What you're hearing is predominantly the DI output from the head here, so that you'll get that basic tone in any of the Rootmaster series. But we've also got a microphone on the cabinet here. This is the 4x10 cabinet, so that might be adding a bit of extra depth. But the first pedal that I've got on the floor down here, which I thought added some really nice definition to the bass end, actually is the Exotic EP Boost, with no real drive added in, so on its like minimum setting. But this is what it sounds like without. And then which I really liked. What do I know on the bass? I think I know one kind of riff. And so on and so forth. I've got a delay on my board, which can give you some fun kind of effects for a more of a Pink Floyd-y kind of. Even some drive from the. I've just got a Stax Master drive pedal here. That's not. I said none of these are sort of dedicated bass pedals. But I want to really sort of focus on the amp, because I do like these amps. I like the fact that Ashdown have kind of real jack of all trades kind of amp. You get some nice clean tones, some nice driven tones. They've got the sort of featured sort of sub bass thing in there to give you that real dirty, grindy kind of tone. But obviously, as I can't play and fiddle with the knobs at the same time, we're going to whiz over to a loop now, and you'll be able to hear some of those tones. So I'll just pop this bass down here and switch over to a loop that we've got coming from our interface here. And so tone, knobs and buttons wise, the white buttons at the top here are an EQ. The bass and the mid-range are actually a parametric EQ. If you're not familiar with the jargon there, parametric means that one of the controls allows me to adjust the actual frequency, and then the one that says bass or middle allows me to adjust the level of that frequency. So I'll do that while we're playing around. Down the bottom here, I have a button called Shape that basically gives you what Ashdown kind of think of their signature sound, if you like. So if you don't really understand EQ, you can just press this button in and it will kind of give you a nice sweet sound. The EQ you can switch on and off from here. There is a built-in compressor that you can switch on and off from here, a built-in drive circuit that you can switch in and out, and then also adjust the amount. There's the sub-harmonic, which is giving you the original dry tone plus then an octave below. An output control, and then if you want to, you can run a line input in here. So if you want to practice along to a drum machine or to a track or whatever, you can plug that into the back and then also adjust the volume of that. On the back, actually let's just quickly do that for you. You can probably hear when I turn the power off, there is a fan that runs in the Ashdown series. Now the fan is really designed to keep the amp cool when you're gigging so hard, so it's quite a sort of high-powered fan. It is the sort of thing that you will hear if you're just going to leave it on in a room or a studio, so bear that in mind, but for live work I wouldn't worry about it at all. So on the back here we've got the foot switch. I'll put in the description below what the foot switch controls. I'm pretty sure it turns the drive and the compressor on and off, but we'll put that in the description below. The output, which is a speak-on output, so it's the sort of pro style bass connection. So the reason people use these is so that even under really high sound pressure levels out of the cabinet, it can't blow the jack out the back of the cabinet. DI output, which is predominantly what you're hearing, an effects send and return, and the line in that we discussed. So pretty compact, not light. I mean, I wouldn't say heavy, but I mean, you know, this is, I don't think you'd want to stick this on your shoulders and sort of wander around on the tube or anything with this, but it's compact enough that you can, you know, it doesn't take up a lot of room in the car. Okay, so we're plugged in with a couple of loops that we've just downloaded off the internet. Essentially all I've really got to do is just adjust this input level control until I get the needle so it's sort of peaking around about the 0 mark, and then after that I'll stop talking and you'll just see me pushing buttons and doing things, and you'll hear what happens, and we'll use a couple of different loops just for some variety. So here we go. there you go, little quick Ashdown demo for you. Hope you agree that it's a versatile little amplifier, a compact little box, rugged little chassis, and if you go check out some of the deals on our website, I hope you'll agree it's an absolutely great value little bass system. So there you go, I've been the captain, doing my best to play a bit of bass and not just be guitar orientated all the time. So that's it, see you next time.